Hi everyone, Alpha Reddit here. So today we're doing another video in our series around the Wuhan coronavirus. So today we're going to be looking at real world facts and figures and extrapolate them to the worst case scenarios, such as doomsday headlines you may have seen in certain newspapers. The Sun. We'll then pull it back to look at why these are unlikely in real life. As you probably noticed, I'm using my real voice today in a bid to better interact with you all. So if you enjoyed this, please drop a like and subscribe, and let's jump in. So, a quick recap on the timeline of this virus. In December 2019, isolated cases of new coronavirus were found with a strong link to the Wuhan seafood market. There was little human-to-human spread at this time, however, and the outbreak was containable at this point. In January 2020, the virus entered the initial epidemic stage, and by the end of January, has infected over 8,000 individuals and spread to more than 15 countries within a month. This shows that it's a very fast moving infection. Looking forward to February 2020 and beyond, it looks increasingly likely that a global pandemic will occur. This doesn't mean you'll see dead piling up in your street, however. If you'd like more information on the background regarding this virus, please watch our coronavirus survival guide. The link should be showing up now. This slide shows a couple of elements, the rate of infection and the number of deaths from the infection. On the left we have the rate of the infection. We can see on this that January 21st there are 446 reported cases. 9 days later, on January 30th, there were 8,163 cases, a jump over 7,500 in just 9 days. This, however, is likely just be the tip of the iceberg. Initial reports from within Wuhan indicate that members of the public have been self-quarantining and avoiding overcrowded hospitals. This would suggest significant underreporting. On the death side, numbers tend to be a bit more accurate. On January 21st, there were 6 confirmed fatalities, and 9 days later, on January 30th, it had reached 171 deaths. To the untrained observer, this may look like the virus has become much more deadly. However, in truth, it's most likely just due to the time taken to succumb to the virus. No matter what you've heard, this virus isn't like a virus in a film. It can't kill you instantly. So, in a perfect world, how bad could it get? Well, we've taken a number of 8,163 from the number infected at the end of our previous slide, and extrapolated this using the R0 figure. The R0 figure, if you do not know, represents the average number that one infected individual will infect while they themselves are infected. So with an R0 of 2.5, you could expect one infected person to infect 2.5 healthy individuals. Okay, so coronavirus's R0 is estimated to be between 2 and 3. So for the sake of this video, we've gone with 2.5. For simplicity. So, looking at this graph, we can see that we have generations and infection count as our axes. The generation refers to the healthy individuals infected by the previous generation of infected individuals. So generation 1 in our graph will be 8,163. Generation 2 will be 2.5 times that number minus 8,163. Okay? While infection count is self-explanatory. So from this we can see that in a perfect world set up just exactly right for the virus, within 35 generations we could infect the whole world. This is obviously unrealistic due to real world factors. However, it does not stop the media from misusing this figure to spread unrealistic projections of the infection based solely on this R0 factor. Daily Mirror. Okay, so following on from the previous slide, here are the factors that make infecting the whole world with coronavirus unlikely. Sorry, Plaguing, it's just not that realistic. Okay, so number 1, geography. In this picture we can see a beautiful image of some Scottish mountains. Now I want you to imagine living in these mountains as a farmer. Your contact with other humans will be limited most of the time to a couple of individuals. If you contrast this to someone living in London, where you'll come into close contact with hundreds if not thousands of people each day, you can see where we're going with this. The R0 figure is variable based on your location, so if somebody came infected in a rural setting, they may not pass the infection on to anybody, so that R0 would effectively be 0. However, somebody living in London could easily pass the infection on to 3, if not 4 individuals. So next we're going to look at barriers. We're not referring to medieval blockades here, but rather face masks, gloves and other PPE that many wear during epidemic situations. These help to break the infection chain by reducing the viral spread. Infected individuals wearing these masks will help to contain the viral particles they shed when they cough or sneeze, and those that are uninfected, it will help to prevent any viral particles that do escape coming into their respiratory system. So this will reduce the R0 itself. So number 3, we're looking at behaviours. So I want you to imagine you're the lady in that picture and you see someone coughing and spluttering coming towards you and there's a coronavirus outbreak in your area. You'll most likely move away or go onto the other side of the road to reduce your exposure to this individual. You may also want to self-quarantine yourself in your house, wait for this all to blow over, thereby limiting the chance you'll get infected yourself. And number 4, healthcare. Unfortunately, there's no cure for the coronavirus at present. However, we do have efficient quarantine procedures. Quarantining patients will effectively reduce their R0 figure to 0 from the time they are quarantined. This can be a highly effective measure in breaking the chain of infection. Okay, so with all of these factors, the main aim of any modifiable factor is to help reduce the R0 to below 1. So once the R0 factor is below 1, that the virus will no longer be able to spread and carry on its infection. It will eventually die out. So that's what we're aiming for. So with all of these modifiable factors, are we going to be okay? Well, we're not quite out of the woods yet. Even with these measures, the virus is still likely to become a global pandemic. People have and will continue to die. The numbers as of yet are unknown, but unfortunately it's a natural result of a pandemic. However, humanity will not become extinct. No matter how hard the tinfoil brigade pushed that this is the end times, it really is not. Okay? So, the number of infections, as discussed before, are based on many factors. Modifying your own behaviour will help to reduce the spread of the virus. And you might see that we've got a point here, dead do not transmit disease well. And this is an important aspect in outbreak morphology, especially with viruses. Viruses require a living host to reproduce. No host, no virus. If a virus mutates to be too lethal too quickly, it will not be able to spread as efficiently, leading to breakdown in the spread of the virus. A perfect example of this is Ebola. It has an R0 of between 1.5 and 2.5, so it overlaps the range of our Wuhan coronavirus. However, it is a much more lethal, killing up to 70% of those it infects in certain outbreaks. Ebola causes a horrendous death, but this horrendous death and the amount of people it kills make the outbreaks tend to fizzle out rather than go completely global due to its ability to kill so effectively. If we can contrast this to another coronavirus, the common cold, which is another type of coronavirus, they spread really easily, but they don't really kill people. So the common cold is almost perfect at its job. It can carry on living, it can carry on reproducing, and it doesn't kill its host. So it just goes round and round and round, and that's why, I'm pretty sure I can guarantee you always know someone that's got a cold. So looking at previous and current pandemics, we can take solace in the fact that this outbreak will likely not be on the same scale as past pandemics have been. If you look at the Spanish flu, which I've seen this virus compared to, we can see that it infected around 500 million and killed 50 to 100 million. Now, there's some scary numbers, but we need to look at the conditions of the time, take those into account. I mean, the Spanish flu occurred right at the end of World War One. Malnourishment and poor hygiene were rife, and basic medical care was in short supply. And there's also recent scientific research that suggests that bacterial secondary infections were killing off a large number of those infected due to these poor conditions. So we also have tuberculosis. This disease killed over 100 million in the 20th century and is still ongoing today. Current estimates are that over a quarter of the world's population is infected with tuberculosis in the latent form, and that 10% of these will go on to develop an active infection. Within those that have an active infection, there's a death rate of between 10 and 16%. Okay, so smallpox is a special case here. It's the first disease that humans actually eradicated themselves through vaccinations. Although before this, it still managed to kill over 100 million during the 20th century alone. It's a super deadly disease. Okay, and then finally we can look at HIV/AIDS. I mean, this disease is controllable with modern medicine. However, due to the poor distribution of healthcare throughout the world, there's estimates of over 100 million being dead in Africa alone by 2025, which is quite sad, really. So why does the coronavirus elicit such a fear response? And it's due to a variety of reasons. One being the fact there's not an effective treatment yet. Most of the illnesses we described in the previous slide have effective treatments, and in the Western world we expect that modern medicine can cure most ailments we have. This means that when a disease comes on that has no cure, we feel vulnerable. And another reason is the lack of information available. If someone discusses tuberculosis with you, it's unlikely to elicit fear, as you've heard about tuberculosis many times in your life. However, if someone starts talking about the coronavirus from China, the lack of information causes a fear response. This lack of information also leads to fake news. So, in conclusion, what do we know from today's video? People will die. This is unfortunately unavoidable in a pandemic. However, it's very unlikely to be on the scale of past or even present pandemics. The chance for this to turn into a pandemic, however, is very high. But humans aren't going to go extinct. There won't be dead bodies in your road. It's going to be a bad infection, but it's not going to be... I very much doubt it'll be on the scale of the Spanish flu. Your behaviour and the behaviours of others around you can modify the spread of this virus. So do not panic. Make sure you subscribe to us. The more videos you watch, the less time you spend being potentially exposed to coronavirus. And also, please just leave a comment. Tell us what you think about the coronavirus, and if you have any questions, just ask and just let us know what you think about the video. Okay, thank you. See you next time. Bye.